Commanders fans, disappointing loss. And I said in my preview video, I said, it's going to be a close game, man. I said I really could see overtime, but our defense is so bad. I really feel bad for Sam because he played his butt off today, man. I think he's the guy. I'm convinced. I think he's the guy. I mean, somebody who can drive. Ron Rivera, and I said this in every preview video, clock management, 2-point conversions, challenges, when to call a timeout. That is always probably my biggest key to victory in the game is Ron Rivera. How does he manage the clock? He did an awful job managing the clock on that last drive. He let 10 seconds run off the clock, then he called a timeout, then he called another timeout. Jamison Crowder drops a pass. I was like, oh, man, we're going to lose again because the drop passes. But no, Sam finds a way. Sam I am finds a way. He finds De'Ami Brown. He still trusts De'Ami Brown after De'Ami dropped an easy, what should have been a touchdown catch last year. He's still trusting De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown has a nice run after the catch for a touchdown. Sam with a beautiful pass Antonio gives to the tied up 19-19. Of course, we let them drive down and easily score a touchdown on both drives, back-to-back, just scoring plays. Easily walk us down to get a field goal. Easily. DK Metcalf wide open in the middle field. In the middle of the field. DK Metcalf wide open. Tyler Lockett wide open on the last drive to get a touchdown. Just wide open. So Bieniemy, he doesn't believe in running the football. He was a running back in college, running back in the NFL, one of the best college running backs in the game of football, and he doesn't believe in running the football. Until the second half, he finally runs the ball with Brian Robinson. And guess what? It worked. Instead of just doing a gun run. It worked with B-Rob. B-Rob was incredible today, catching the football. He was really darn good. And that was on Sam, too, to move around, maneuver the pocket, make something happen, make something shake, find B-Rob to the left for a touchdown. Then he did it again. He did the same play, and it went for 48 yards. So Sam's the guy, man, with moving musical chairs with the offensive line. You already got guys who we signed like Wiley who aren't good anyway. Lano's on the last leg of his career. Larson getting pushed back, pushed over. Chris Paul, I think he's been fine, but this is his second year, so you have a makeshift offline. Guys have been benched like Nick Gates. He's doing this with a makeshift offensive line. Terrible coaching. Bieniemy with inconsistent play calling. Basically the worst defense in the league. We're 30th. We're dead, almost dead last in every category. Ben St. Juice had a rough day, just awful today. Face mask, that was a face mask. The pass interference, yeah, it was a pass interference. And he was just out there getting cooked. DK Metcalf couldn't check him. Couldn't really check Lockett. Couldn't check any guy that was really in front of him, to be honest. He just struggled today. It was a rough day for him. And he's not the fastest guy in the world or the quickest guy in the world. The first half, he was okay. He got away with the pass interference, I thought, in the first half, too, on Tyler Lockett, where he tugged his jersey. And he got away with it. He actually got away with a PI or two. But, the Emmanuel Forbes ejection, I thought that was ridiculous. I did think it was a penalty. But you look at Kareem Jackson from the Broncos, he did what he did against Logan Thomas. I think he did get ejected. I can't remember. I think he only got a flag, if I'm not mistaken. But Kareem Jackson's got away with even worse stuff, and they eject Emmanuel Forbes for that. I thought that was ridiculous. I thought that was egregious. But, of course, New York comes down with a call again, and they screw us. I like Emmanuel Forbes. I'm not sure if he would have changed the game anyway, but I thought it was just a ridiculous call at the beginning of the game. Sam, the fumble was bad. It was bad. He's got to work on that. That's the only bad thing I have to say about Sam, really. 3 touchdowns, 312 yards, 44 passing attempts is just – he's just dropping him back. Bieniemy's dropping Sam back so much. Like, you can bet the over on – shout out to Prize Picks. If you did tell my picks, we hit the over on Tyler Lockett. He had 92 receiving yards. He went bonkers. 92. DK had 98. Every week you can just pick the trick to Prize Picks is to really wager on the over of any wide receiver that's going up against us. Just take the over in their yards. Drake London, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Marvin Mims. I already said Drake London, DJ Moore. Just anybody, you can just spam the over on them. And then I had the 3.5 receptions over on Logan Thomas. He hit that. I thought Logan Thomas has been fine. I thought he's had a solid year this year. 5 catches for 40 yards. Antonio Gibson with a nice touchdown catch. That was beautiful. He has to remember to get out of bounds on some plays. Sometimes he just the mental presence of mind is just not there from him, or mental awareness of getting out of bounds. I don't know if he's just not thinking about it or what, but he just kind of, I don't know, he just forgets to do it. But Sam, man, they drop him back so much. Sacked 3 times, which is actually not bad for us. But and the thing is, with the Seahawks, I know we're the get-right game for teams. Like, Geno finally got right because he had a rough couple weeks. The Ravens game was terrible. The Cardinals game wasn't great from him either. And the Vikings won today, too. So, yeah, our playoff hopes, it's not over yet, but there's no point in really talking about it, especially with this coaching staff. Josh Dobbs looks fine. He looks like a fine. He looks like a solid quarterback right now, and that's just enough to get them to the playoffs. I'm gonna look at my notes here real quick. But yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, the mismanagement of the clock by Ron Rivera, and then we just knew. I mean, I just knew when there was 52 seconds left, I was like, this is just way too much time. It did not matter. I know a lot of people are saying Ron should have went for 2. He should have went for 2. No, he should not have. It really didn't matter because 3 is more than 1. You would have been up by 1 point. It's not like the Eagles game where it would have been like, 10 seconds left. They would have had to have like a Hail Mary kind of play. The Eagles, I want to say it was like 10 seconds left, but this 52 seconds left, and they had a couple timeouts too. Like they had a bunch because DK Metcalf, he was running around and trying to truck people and carry guys on his back. And I think it was Mark Sanchez who actually did a pretty good job commentating because he called Ron Rivera out on his clock management. He was like, DK needs to go down. He needs to go down, but DK was just trying to churn out more yards. And the Seahawks clearly knew they had a bunch of timeouts, so they had enough timeouts to stop the clock and kick that field goal. So it was a 44-yard field goal. The weather wasn't bad either, so everybody knew that was good. The 4th and 1 pass to Terry McLaurin, that was a big catch by Terry. That was a big catch by him. That was a big throw by Sam I Am on 4th and 1. That was a big play by him. Yeah, he using B-Rob and Antonio Gibson because Devin Witherspoon, he's a good corner. He's a good corner. Tyreek Williams is a good corner. They got good corners. Good corners, and I think they did a good job on our receivers. Curtis Samuel's not 100%. Jahan Dotson had 0 catches today. It just wasn't his day. But defensively, we were bad. We let the big play to Kenneth Walker, just like last week. A big play to Ramondre Stevenson. Zach Charbonnet on 2nd down. He runs for a 1st down. A big play. We just gave a big play after big play after big play. Now, 3rd downs, I want to say we did a better job because the Seahawks are not good on 3rd downs anyway. Let me see how are they on 3rd downs. They were 4 for 14. The Seahawks are not good on 4th downs. They rely on explosive plays, and we did just that. We gave up big plays. That wasn't one of my keys to victory as well. To not give up explosive plays, and we did it. We certainly did it. All right, so I'm gonna go over my notes here. Touchdown pass to Brian Robinson. I already talked about that. That was good. Joey Slye missed an extra point. That came back to bite us in the behind a little bit. David Mayo got cooked by Jackson Smith and Jigba in the beginning, but David Mayo made some good tackles. He did. He made some good tackles. Forbes ejected. Deron Payne, you got to catch that interception, man. It just reminds me of the Carlos Rogers drop in Seattle in the playoffs. It's stuff like that. We give up a field goal. Everything counts, man. Every little thing counts. I say this in my preview video as well. We got to catch interceptions. We drop way too many interceptions. And when guys fumble, we don't jump on the football. We just don't have that knack. We just don't have that presence of mind to it. We're just not aggressive to it. We're just not. We just don't have that gene. We don't have that ice in our veins to be ready to get a turnover. And I know it's hard to say that. It's easier said than done, but we just don't have. Some teams have it. We just don't. Logan Thomas, nice catch and run. That was a good drive by Sam. Antonio Gibson had a nice catch and run. I talked about that too. Gibson drops the screen pass. Almost got picked off. We got lucky with that. 2nd quarter, we had a couple bend don't break defensive plays. Like we did a good job at the end of the 1st half where Gino spiked the ball. They called intentional grounding. The clock ran out. That was one of the better drives by the defense where they were just doing bend don't break kind of stuff. And then I talked about we just didn't run the ball enough. We didn't run the ball enough. I mean, we were down 16-12 and we're still dropping Sam back, throwing the ball every single time. Like no change up, no balance, no nothing from the enemy. And it's just you're not helping out a young quarterback. Like Sam is dropping back 50 times and still getting it done. Pass rush forced Geno Smith to intentional grounding at the end of the half. Big stop for them to get no points. Yeah, I give him props for that. John Allen got a sack. We still don't really we're not providing much of a pass rush. We're just not. You know, I mean, Chase Young and Montez, they were getting pressures, so of course they did more than what we're doing right now. Right now, we're just not really getting much of a pass rush at all. They had a couple good plays though. We had a coverage sack. They made some good plays here and there. Sam Howell sacked on 3rd down. Joey Slye makes the kick. So he made all the 45, 47, 48. He redeemed himself from the extra point, but the extra point it still kind of hurt us. Oh yeah, Percy Butler and Danny Johnson, they missed the tackle on the Kenneth Walker touchdown run or catch and run. It was just ridiculous. It was just bad tackling all around. 3rd down, Jack Dover actually called a blitz. Cam Curl got back there and we forced an incompletion. That was a big stop on 3rd down too. We finally blitzed on 3rd down. We got a big stop. Sack on 2nd down, that hurt us as well. We barely run the football. I told about that. Charbonnet 1st down run on 4th down. Talked about that. He went for like 6 or 7 yards. We held him to a field goal. It was 19-12. We still have a chance. Then we had a nice drive. Brian Robinson had a nice catch and run, and Turner Gibson nice catch and run a nice catch for the touchdown. Talked about that. Ben St. Juice, the Ben St. Juice drive, pass interference, face mask on Kenneth Walker, 12 men on the field penalty. That's on Jack Del Rio. That's coaching. Then Tyler Lockett had a heck of a drive there too and scored a touchdown. James Crowder had a drop. So I mean, I basically went over all my notes, but it's a disappointing loss. It's a game that they really could have won, man. It's a game where we could have been 5-5 and really kind of been in that race. And you play against the Giants, who got skunked today by the Cowboys. But even though the Giants are awful and they're trash, guess what? They're going to play hard against us. They're going to play with their hair on fire against us. They're going to come in here with the utmost confidence. Tommy DeVito sleeping in his mama's house, in his parents' house. Oh, that's been the story all this week. And they're going to say the same story. And guess what? He's going to play hard. I still think we're going to win, but guess what? It's going to be a sweat. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a very close game. I said today should have went to overtime. It should have, but coaching and their defense is trash. I predicted to go to overtime. I predicted to win, but it's going to be an ugly win. It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be very, very close. They're going to come in here and play hard. The Giants, they're going to play very hard. I think Chase Young had a sack today. It doesn't really matter. I think he had a half a sack. It doesn't really matter, but he had a half a sack. And the Niners look good today. They beat up on the Jags, so. But I wish Chase Young the best. I see somebody commented about Chase Young on one of my other videos. So I'll bring him up very quickly and briefly. But Sam Howell's the guy. That's what I take away from this game. I think he's the guy. I think he's the franchise quarterback. I don't think you need to trade up for a quarterback. We got some draft capital now, so use that draft capital for offensive linemen, for another tight end. Maybe I wouldn't draft a linebacker that high. I would just go a lineman and tight end. Offense. But we got to help this defense out. We got to get another pass rusher in here too. We have to. Now we have a glaring weakness now at edge rusher. We need another edge rusher in here. So I don't know if we sign one in free agency or a draft one. We'll see. But we gotta get some tackles in here, some guards, just every position of the offensive line. I wouldn't mind drafting in the first 3 rounds. I have no problem with it at all. Excuse me. So yeah, I will be doing studs and duds tomorrow, or studs and duds. I'll try to do that. But yeah, man, I'm just ready for this coaching staff to go, and we got to take care of business next week against the Giants. We have to, and be 5-6. But the rest of the way, the schedule is very, very tough. It's very, very tough coming up. But yeah, that's about it, man. 14 carries today is not enough. We got to run the ball a little bit more than that, and the Seahawks ran the ball 26 times. They ran the ball 26 times, so we just have to do better than that. And Bieniemy has to do better than that. He just has to. Bobby Wagner, he had a solid day out there too. He had 10 tackles. But yeah, all right. Like I said, I think once again, I think Sam's the guy. Yeah, move forward with him and build around him. Focus on him, and build around him, because he makes all the throws. He's got the legs. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can make things happen. So. I think we got our guy. And he's cool, calm, and collected. He's poised, man. He never looks nervous or scared out there. He's always ready for the next play. If he makes a mistake, he's ready to bounce back. He fumbled. It was a terrible fumble. Guess what? He bounced back and let it drive for a touchdown. So I like what I saw today. I think there were some positive takeaways, but it's things that we already know. Jack Del Rio has to go, and this coaching staff, they just got to go. They got to go, and they will go. They will be going. So I haven't seen the Magic Johnson tweet yet, but I know he's going to tweet the same. Had a good day. But we cannot lose to the Giants. We just can't. Can't lose to the Giants. All right, you guys. Hail to Commanders. Peace.